The bridal suite was bright and quiet, filled with the soft sound of a tailor adjusting the final stitches on Layla Jackson's wedding dress. She stood in front of the mirror, hands slightly shaking but her face calm. Tomorrow was her big day. Everything had been planned perfectly, down to the flowers, the music, the guest list. Layla was 28, confident and successful. She looked beautiful in her white gown, her eyes filled with a mix of excitement and nerves. She held a small notebook in her hand, reading over her vows softly. Then her phone buzzed. She picked it up, thinking it was a message from one of her vendors or a sweet note from her fiancé, Tyler Dean. But the number wasn't saved. The message had no words, just a video file. She pressed play. The clip started with a shaky camera view of a hotel room. Two people were in bed, laughing, kissing. At first, it didn't register. Then she saw their faces. Tyler and Maya, her childhood best friend. Layla stood still, the phone held tight in her hand. Her mouth didn't move. Her heart felt like it stopped. The sound in the room faded. Her hands began to tremble. She dropped the phone. The video kept playing on the floor. She stared down at it, not blinking. Her sister, Imani, walked into the room a moment later, holding a cup of tea. She saw Layla's face and stopped in her tracks. "What's wrong?" Imani asked, stepping closer. Layla didn't answer. Imani looked down and picked up the phone. She watched just a few seconds of the video before her face changed. "No," Imani whispered. Layla sat down slowly on the edge of the bed. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She didn't say a word. Her eyes were dry, her face still. The betrayal didn't hit her like a slap. It felt like something breaking inside. Slow, quiet, deep. She sat there in her wedding dress, not knowing what she was. Layla Jackson had always been strong. She grew up with just her mother, who worked hard every day to give her a good life. They didn't have much, but they had love. Layla's mom taught her to be kind, work hard, and never settle for less than she deserved. When her mother died 5 years ago, it broke Layla's heart. But she didn't fall apart. She kept going. She built a name for herself as a top event planner in Lagos. She was known for being smart, organized, and calm under pressure. People saw her as strong and serious, but deep inside, Layla was a romantic. She believed in love. She believed in happy endings. That's why she fell for Tyler Dean. Tyler seemed perfect from the start. He was handsome, well-spoken, and full of charm. He came from money, but he never made her feel small, at least not at first. He made big promises, talked about forever, and showered her with gifts. For a while, Layla felt like she was living in a dream. Sometimes she would ask herself if she really deserved someone like him. He was used to a different kind of life, one with private schools, luxury cars, and rich friends. Still, he made her feel chosen, special. Then there was Maya Rivers. Maya had been Layla's best friend since they were little girls. They used to do everything together, sleepovers, sharing secrets, dreaming about the future. But as they grew older, Maya changed. She started caring more about how things looked, her clothes, her followers, being invited to fancy parties. Layla still loved her like a sister, even when they grew apart. She forgave Maya for being selfish sometimes. She always thought their bond was too deep to break. Now, that same Maya was the woman in the video with Tyler. Layla's world felt like it had cracked open. Her sister Imani was the only one who knew what had happened. Imani was the complete opposite of Layla, quick to speak, quick to fight, and deeply protective. When she saw the video, she wanted to call the wedding off right away, to shout it to the world. But Layla stopped her. She wasn't ready yet. Layla also had to think about the bigger picture. This wedding wasn't just about love anymore. It was a public event. She had clients and sponsors watching. People were traveling in from all over. She had poured money, time, and her full heart into planning every little detail. Backing out now would mean losing face. Her career might suffer. Her business could take a hit. And most of all, her late mother would never get to see her walk down the aisle. Then there was Tyler's family. His mother, Denise, had never liked Layla. She smiled in public, but her eyes always looked down on her. She thought Layla wasn't good enough, too plain, too working class. The wedding was supposed to bring the two families together, to show that love could rise above status. But it was all fake now. As Layla sat in her bridal suite, dress still hanging on the hook, she thought about everything. The years she spent building her life. The promises Tyler made. The times Maya laughed with her like nothing could ever come between them. Everything felt like a lie. But one thing was clear. Layla couldn't let this break her. Not now. She had to be smart, careful, stronger than ever. The morning after Layla saw the video, the sun rose like it always did. Birds sang outside her window. People in the hotel moved around, getting ready for the wedding. But for Layla, nothing felt the same. She looked calm on the outside. Her face showed no pain. She got dressed, smiled at the staff, and acted like any other bride preparing for her big day. But inside, her heart was full of fire and ice. She felt betrayed, hurt, and sick. Still, she didn't say a word to Tyler. When he came into the suite to see her, he greeted her with a kiss on the cheek like nothing had happened. "You slept okay?" he asked with a warm smile. Layla nodded. "Yeah, I did." He talked about the wedding plans, how excited he was, how everyone was going to be blown away. Layla watched him speak, listened to his smooth words, and smiled back. But every word felt like glass in her mouth. She wanted to scream, to slap him, to ask why. But she didn't. Not yet. When he left the room, she finally let out a long, slow breath. Later, she pulled Imani aside and told her everything. "I saw it with my own eyes," she whispered. "Maya. And Tyler." Imani's face turned red with anger. "Say the word, and I'll burn this whole thing down." "No," Layla said quietly. "Not yet. I need to know the truth. All of it. And then, I'll deal with them. My way." Layla made a decision. She wouldn't run. She wouldn't cancel. She would go through with the day, but not the way anyone expected. She wanted two things now. First, she wanted answers. She needed to know how long it had been going on, why they did it, and how deep the lies went. Second, she wanted to end it on her own terms, publicly. Not out of anger, but out of power. That night, while everyone else was sleeping, Layla sat at her desk with her laptop and Tyler's iPad. She had seen his password before. He thought she never paid attention. She searched through messages, emails, calendar notes. What she found made her heart sink even more. There were texts going back months. Tyler and Maya had been meeting at hotels. Secret dates. Private gifts. Messages with photos and long, flirty conversations. He even gave Maya a necklace, one that Layla thought he had bought for her birthday. She remembered wearing that necklace. She remembered thanking him for it. Layla stared at the screen, numb. The betrayal wasn't just once. It was a long, quiet storm behind her back. And all the while, he held her hand, smiled at her family, told her he loved her. She sat back and let it all settle in. This wasn't a mistake. This was a choice. Over and over again. Layla's hands didn't shake anymore. Her tears didn't fall. She felt something else now. Clarity. They had played her for a fool. But she wasn't one. Not anymore. The night before the wedding, Layla organized a small dinner with close family and friends. The room was warm and filled with laughter, but Layla felt like a stranger inside her own life. The soft lights, the music in the background, the smiling faces, none of it felt real anymore. Still, she smiled. She greeted her guests. She thanked everyone for coming. Then Maya walked in. She was wearing a tight red dress and bright lipstick. Her smile was wide, her laugh loud. She hugged Layla like nothing had ever happened. Layla hugged her back, though every muscle in her body was tense. Her heart pounded, but her face stayed calm. "You look beautiful," Maya said sweetly. "Thanks," Layla replied, her voice steady. "So do you." Maya sat at the table like she owned the room, making jokes and sipping wine. Layla kept watching her, trying to understand how someone could pretend so easily. There was no shame in Maya's eyes, no guilt, no fear. She looked completely at peace. Tyler arrived a little late. He walked in with his usual confidence and went around the table, shaking hands and hugging relatives. When he got to Layla, he kissed her cheek. "You look like a dream," he said. She gave him a small smile. "Thanks. I'm glad you made it." Dinner began. Plates of jollof rice, grilled fish, and fried plantains were passed around. Glasses clinked, and everyone was enjoying themselves. Layla sat between Tyler and Imani. Her sister gave her small looks every now and then, checking if she was okay. Layla nodded each time, signaling she had it under control. Then Tyler stood up with his wine glass. "I just want to say how lucky I am," he said, smiling at everyone. "Layla is the most amazing woman I've ever known. Tomorrow, I get to marry the love of my life. To love, to family, and to forever." Everyone clapped. Maya smiled from across the table, her eyes meeting Layla's for a brief moment. Layla raised her glass too. She took a sip, but inside, she wanted to throw it at the wall. She felt like she was trapped in a movie she didn't choose to be in. Rage burned in her chest. She wanted to scream, to break things, to shout the truth. But she kept calm. She played her role. Later, after most of the guests had gone, Layla pulled Maya aside in the hallway. "Walk with me," she said quietly. They stepped outside to the hotel garden. The night air was cool. Layla folded her arms as she turned to her oldest friend. "Tell me the truth, Maya," she said softly. "How long has it been?" Maya blinked. "What are you talking about?" "You and Tyler," Layla said. "How long?" Maya gave a little laugh. "Layla, you're tired. It's the wedding stress. Don't let it get to you." Layla stared at her, searching her face. "I've seen the video. I've read the texts." Maya's smile faded, but only for a second. Then she said, "It didn't mean anything. It was a mistake. A mistake that lasted months?" Layla asked, You looked happy in that video. Maya looked away. You don't understand, Layla. He came to me. I didn't go looking for this. Layla realized something right then. Maya wasn't sorry. She wasn't afraid. She didn't even try to apologize. She was still trying to win. You enjoyed it, Layla said quietly. Hurting me. Maya shrugged. You always had everything under control. Maybe I just wanted something you had. Layla took a step back. Her heart ached, but her face stayed calm. Thanks for being honest. She walked away, leaving Maya in the garden. Back inside, Layla found Tyler sitting alone on the couch, scrolling through his phone. Hey, she said, sitting beside him. I was thinking, maybe we should write our own vows. Tyler looked up, frowning slightly. That's sweet, but you know I'm not good with words. I'll just wing it. Layla nodded. Sure. He went back to his phone, and that was all he had to say. In that moment, Layla saw everything clearly. Tyler didn't care about the words, the promises, or the meaning behind the wedding. He cared about how he looked, how perfect everything seemed, how many people were watching. He was more worried about appearances than truth. That night, Layla lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Her heart was heavy, but her mind was sharp. She would not cancel the wedding. She would not cry in front of anyone. She would go through with it, but on her terms. The wedding day arrived with bright skies and a soft breeze. The hotel was decorated beautifully. White roses, golden ribbons, and shining lights everywhere. Guests filled the seats, dressed in their best clothes, smiling and chatting. Photographers moved around, taking pictures of every detail. It was the perfect setup for a perfect wedding. But Layla knew the truth behind the smile she wore. In her bridal suite, she looked in the mirror one last time. Her dress was stunning, her makeup flawless, and her hair neatly pinned. On the outside, she looked like a happy bride. Inside, she was calm, but ready. Her heart didn't beat fast from nerves. It beat with purpose. The music started. Everyone turned as Layla walked down the aisle, holding her bouquet, eyes forward. Guests whispered, admiring her grace. Some wiped tears. Tyler stood at the altar in a sharp black tuxedo, smiling like a man who thought he had won. Maya sat in the front row, wearing a pale blue dress. She smiled wide, acting like nothing was wrong. Layla reached the altar and stood beside Tyler. The officiant welcomed everyone and spoke a few words about love and unity. Then came the moment for the vows. The officiant looked at Layla and said, "You may begin." Layla didn't speak right away. She looked at Tyler. His eyes were shining, his grin full of pride. He had no idea what was coming. Slowly, Layla pulled out her phone from the bouquet. The room went silent. She tapped the screen. A projector hidden among the wedding equipment lit up the large screen behind the altar. The guests turned to look. Then it played, the video. Tyler and Maya, in bed, laughing, kissing. Gasps filled the air. Whispers spread like fire through the room. Some people stood. Others looked away in shock. Maya jumped to her feet. "Turn that off," she shouted, her face pale. Tyler grabbed for the phone, but it was too late. Layla held it tight, not flinching. When the video ended, Layla stepped forward. She looked out at the guests, friends, family, strangers, and spoke in a clear, calm voice. "This isn't just about cheating," she said. "This is about being disrespected, lied to, hurt by the people I trusted most. My fiancé and my best friend." The room was dead silent. "I won't marry someone who sleeps with my friend and then looks me in the eyes like nothing happened," she said. "I'm not here to beg for love or fight for someone who never cared. I'm here to take my power back." She turned to Tyler. "You fooled me for a while, but today I'm the one who ends the show." Then she dropped the bouquet on the floor. She didn't cry. She didn't look back. Imani appeared at her side and held her hand. Together, they walked down the aisle, not as bride and bridesmaid, but as two women walking away from betrayal. Heads turned. Phones were out. Some people clapped quietly. Others just stared, speechless. Layla stepped out into the sunlight, head high, heart steady. She didn't feel broken. She felt free. The days after the wedding were a blur. The video spread online within hours. Someone at the ceremony had recorded it all. The vows moment, the video on the screen, Layla's calm speech, and her walkout. People on social media shared it everywhere. Comments poured in. Strangers called her brave. Some said they wished they had done the same in their own lives. Layla, who once feared embarrassment, was now being praised. Tyler's world fell apart fast. His family, especially his mother Denise, turned against him. She was angry and embarrassed. Their perfect image was ruined. Business partners stepped away. Old friends stopped calling. Maya didn't escape either. The women in their social circle blocked her. She lost invites, lost trust, and lost face. The people who once praised her now whispered behind her back. But Layla? She rose. Her event business took off like never before. Brides wanted her to plan their weddings, not just because of her skills, but because of her strength. They saw a woman who stood up for herself with grace. Layla started getting booked for months ahead. Clients trusted her more. They saw her not just as a planner, but as someone who knew how to face chaos and still keep her head up. But even with all the success, Layla didn't rush into anything else. She took time for herself. She started going to therapy every week. At first, it was hard to talk, but slowly she opened up. She spoke about her mom, her childhood, her fears, and her hopes. She cried in those quiet rooms, and sometimes she laughed too. She began writing in a journal, just a little each morning. Sometimes it was just one line. Today I feel lighter. Or, I don't miss him anymore. She picked up old hobbies she had pushed aside. Painting, reading, long walks in the park with no music, no noise, just her thoughts and the sound of birds. One afternoon, while checking her mail, she found an envelope with no name. Inside was a handwritten note. It read, I was at your wedding. I don't know you, but I saw your strength. Years ago, I stayed with someone who hurt me because I was too scared to leave. Watching you walk away gave me courage. Thank you. You helped me more than you know. Layla held the note for a long time. She didn't know who sent it, but it warmed her heart more than any gift ever could. She realized something in that moment. She hadn't just freed herself. She had shown others how to do the same. 1 week before the wedding, Malik came home from work to find a surprise waiting for him. Standing in front of his house in Texas was his mother, Cynthia. She wore a simple dress and held a small suitcase. Her face looked tired from the long flight, but her eyes were calm. I came to bless your marriage, she said softly. You're my only child. Malik froze. His heart started beating fast, not from happiness, but from shock and anger. You weren't invited, he said coldly. I know, she replied. But this is your wedding. I couldn't stay away. Malik didn't move. He stared at her like she was a stranger. You shouldn't have come. Inside the house, Anika was decorating gift boxes. She heard voices and came outside. Her eyes widened when she saw Cynthia. Hi, are you Malik's mom? She asked, stepping forward with a smile. Cynthia nodded. Yes, dear. I'm sorry to come unannounced. I just wanted to see my son before his big day. Anika welcomed her warmly, but she could feel the tension between mother and son. Malik's face was tight, his jaw clenched. Later, inside the house, he pulled Anika aside. She's not staying, he said. I'll book her a hotel near the airport. Malik, Anika said gently, why are you so angry? He didn't answer at first. Then he looked away and said, I invited Dad. Not her. She ruined everything in my life. Anika was quiet for a moment. You never talk about her. What happened? She always made things harder. Cold, angry, always trying to control me. She hated Dad, even when he offered to help me. She couldn't stand to see me leave her. Anika nodded slowly. I understand it was hard, but she came all the way from Nigeria. Maybe she's trying to make peace. I don't want her here, Malik said. This is my wedding, not hers. Later that night, Cynthia knocked gently on the door of the guest room where she was staying. Malik opened it halfway, not letting her in. Just 5 minutes, she said. Please let me speak. I don't have anything to say to you, Malik replied. She looked down, hurt. I just want you to know. I did what I thought was right. You ruined everything, Malik said, voice low and sharp. Cynthia looked at him for a long time. Then she said something that made him stop breathing for a second. If I ruined everything, why don't you ask your father why I left him? Malik blinked. What's that supposed to mean? But Cynthia didn't explain. She turned and walked away slowly, her shoulders heavy. Malik stood in the hallway, confused and angry. The words kept repeating in his mind. Why don't you ask your father why I left him? It was the first time he had ever heard her speak about the past like that, like there was something he didn't know. Anika found him sitting in the dark later. She sat beside him and placed her hand on him. You only get one mother, she whispered. And maybe, just maybe, there's more to her story than you think. Malik didn't answer. But something had changed. A door had opened, just a crack, and behind it, a secret waited.